I know. We're not live yet,
We're
but
live
we're
now.
going live now. Okay, we're
Okay,
live
we're
now.
live
Yeah.
now. I'm sure.
Okay, so good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to be here. Okay, so very quickly, we're going to be starting with brief introductions. Sorry for the network glitches that we had. And then let's have your
Network issues.
Yeah, it looks like there's a few network issues going on there with
He needs to sort it out. If not, it's gonna really disturb.
general statement.
Kumi,
If I can call them that on the events of today.
has gone off.
Yeah, it seems like Kunmi's having some technical issues, so
he needs to sort it out. If not, it's gonna really be bad. Yeah, just take your time.
I guess whilst we're live and whilst Kunmi's still sorting out his technical issues, we could maybe just I guess introduce ourselves. My name is Misbah. I work at Wakelet. Wakelet is a content curation platform. We've been helping teachers and educators and students curate and organize online content. It's a completely free to use platform. And yeah, today hopefully we're going to be having a good conversation about what responsibility EdTech companies like Wakelet play when it comes to the whole educational space. So I'm excited to talk a little bit.
All right. I'm Tolu Ogurinde. I'm a lawyer and the creative director of Kids.Without.Box. I'm also a content stylist at the Our Signature. So we're here today to bear our minds on the future of EdTech, educational technology, in Nigeria, Africa, and the world. I mean, this is what we need for this period, since we can't totally move around physically. Thanks to technology, thanks to the internet, we can still move on with life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure today is going to be very engaging and very interesting, and also very motivating for every viewer out there, educators, educational technology companies. So I guess we're going to have
thank you,
great.
Misbah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
introduce myself.
Okay, great. Uchenna.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, great. So I'm mindful of asking. We get to hear a lot about Nigenius, and
yeah.
So can we ask ourselves, who or what is Nigenius, and how does Nigenius impact the education technology space in Nigeria and in Africa?
All right, that's a good question. Okay, so first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Kelechi Uchenna, and I'm a co-founder of Nigenius. And like you said, Nigenius is a smart web application that works with teachers to automatically generate well-researched, quality, vetted lesson plans and teaching resources on their computers, interactive screens, and mobile devices. So, for example, a teacher wants to teach germination of seeds, to primary 2 students in basic science. All the teacher needs is to type in the topic, the subject, and the class, and Nigenius will automatically generate a well-researched lesson plan and also provide the teacher with a stream of teaching resources, pictures, videos, projects, apps for teaching, and innovative teaching methods so they can actually create an engaging classroom for their students. So it's quality lesson plans and teaching resources on their computers, mobile devices, and interactive screens based on their targeted teaching objective. That is what Nigenius does, and provides quality teaching resources so that students can get the best and actually improve their student performances and learning outcomes. That's what Nigenius does, basically. Yeah.
I think we may have lost him, no?
Yeah, I believe so again.
I can talk a little bit about what Wakelet does because I'm gonna guess that's what the next question was gonna be.
Exactly.
So Wakelet is a content curation platform. It allows you to collect any kind of content from across the web into a single collection or any type of collection that you want. You can customize this collection, and the content that you add can be videos, it can be podcasts, it can be tweets, anything with a URL you can add to a Wakelet collection. You can also add your own content as well. So you can upload Flipgrid videos directly from your collection. You can add your own PDFs, your own notes, your own images. And there's lots of other things that we're working on at the moment as well, because we want to make it a place where you can really literally add anything to a collection. Once you've created this collection, you can share it with whoever you want. You can make it private, unlisted, public. And a lot of teachers have been using Wakelet in a lot of different ways. Classroom newsletters, digital storytelling assignments, just a place for them to take all of the resources that they want to share with their students and put it all into one place. It's been incredible, and I think one of the things that we're most proud of at Wakelet is the international community that we've created around our platform as well. So we're very proud of that.
Fantastic, amazing. I wanted to ask a question, Misbah. So the content comes as a web link and it opens as a web page, right?
Yes, the beautiful thing about Wakelet is that if I take a YouTube link, I can paste that into Wakelet, and it will embed. It will look like a YouTube video. So it's not just clicking and then it will take you off into another site. Most of the time, if the content is media based, like an Instagram post or a video or a song or something like that, or a map, when you take that URL and paste it into Wakelet, it will embed that content into the collection in a way that it should be seen, which is amazing because you can make some really powerful collections with a video and then a podcast underneath it, and then a Google map, and then so on. It's like that mixed media.
And pictures as well. And pictures as well.
Yes, really visual.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, so I guess it's just me and you now. So
looks like it. Yeah, looks like it.
Okay, they're back. They're back now.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here. Actually, I'm here. Okay, so it's wonderful hearing of two applications, if I could call them that. We have Nigenius, and then we have Wakelet. So I'm supposed to ask, because one of our participants asked a question and said, for me as a beginner, how do I start? How do I harness the power of Wakelet that you talk about? How do I harness the power of Nigenius that you talk about? So do we start with you, Uchenna?
Okay. First of all, yeah, that's a good question. How do you harness the power of Nigenius? Okay, so Nigenius is a web application. So we launched the mobile app in 2018. It's currently on the Google Store. You can access it, on the Android Google Store. Access it, sign up in less than 5 seconds, and you're in, and you can now access the teaching resources and the lesson plans on Nigenius on the mobile app. Although we have built a new version, which is the website version of Nigenius, which is accessible across all devices, anywhere, anytime. You can access it on your browser, on your laptop, on your mobile, and that version drops this July. We're currently in the final stages of rolling it out. So if you want to access it, first of all, you can always access the mobile app on the Google Play Store. Just search Nigenius. And this July, we're going to be launching the new version, which is the website version of Nigenius. So just stay tuned and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, and you get all the updates. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Uchenna. Okay, so Misbah, for a beginner, I know that Weekly has the weekly webinars, joining the Weekly community, becoming a pro surfer. But for somebody who's not even heard of Wakelet and is enthused and interested in Wakelet, how do we start on the platform?
So I always say this phrase. I always say, start small and have fun. Okay. The platform that we have is a very, very simple platform. You go to wakelet.com and sign up. You don't have to start using Wakelet to do these big crazy things with. You don't have to start using it for newsletters or to create these huge resource pages. What we say is start small and have fun. If you're brand new to Wakelet, go and sign up to an account and create a collection on places that you want to visit. Create a collection on a very small subject that you're very passionate about. Go and collect your favorite artists' music videos or their favorite live performances, that type of thing. Do something that's fun and that isn't necessarily educational. At that point, you'll learn what the mechanics of Wakelet are. You'll learn how to use the buttons, how to use the actual interface. Once you've done that, all of these ideas will start coming to you where you think, I can now do what I've just done, but I can get my students to do this about this particular subject. I can create this collection about climate change and share it with my students now. And then it gradually escalates to the point where we have teachers who are using Wakelet every single day with their classroom and learning communities. And yeah, I would say, you've got the Wakelet for Beginners webinar as well. You've got the ebook, which is really good. If you go to learn.wakelet.com, you've got the ebook. And yeah, you start small and have fun.
Thank you very much, Misbah. Okay, now there's another question on the other platform where we're streaming to, and the person is like, okay, there's so much talk for the educators. How about the students? How about the learners? How about the pupils? How does all of this, how does it come back to them? All right, so Uchenna, let me have your take on that.
All right, great question. So looking at the EdTech industry in Nigeria and Africa, there are lots of key areas, the key EdTech areas. So there's school management systems, there's learning management systems, there's peer-to-peer learning systems, there's online testing systems, there's content creation and content generation systems like Nigenius, and there are AI, VR, augmented reality systems, like StanLab and the rest of them. But for students, there are lots of solutions out there. Example, ULesson. ULesson is strictly for the students. It provides lessons, curriculum-based lessons in junior secondary and secondary for students on their mobile phones. They also have the ability to connect dongles and use it offline as well. So there's something for everyone if in all these areas, as long as you search and you're willing to find out what's out there. There's even peer-to-peer learning like EduPoint, EduPoint and Traindemi and the rest of them, where they can connect teachers with students. You want to learn mathematics, you're a student, you want to learn mathematics, you need a home tutor, but now online tutors, no more home tutors anymore. You want to learn social studies, you go to EduPoint, you go to prep class, they connect you with tutors online and you learn, So there's something for everybody out there. It just depends on you to actually go to that search engine and say, okay, how can I learn this? How can I learn that? And you find them. There's a lot happening in the EdTech space in Nigeria. You just need to find out. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Uchenna. Okay, Misbah, there's a question, and I find this quite interesting because it's a question that I also asked initially when I got to know about Wakelet, and I would want you to also share the insights. Now, there's this perception that those who are outside of Africa do not really understand the challenges of participating or being active users of different EdTech platforms, and so the usage in Africa is poor. However, I don't think it is, but I would want you to just share some insights on it, albeit the work that Wakelet is doing and what you think generally. Okay, Misbah.
I'm so sorry, Kunmi. I didn't 100% get the question. I didn't quite understand it.
Okay,
Would you be able to make it a
I'll take
little
it.
smaller?
I'll take it again. All right. So the question is this: with regards to education technology, there's the perception that those outside of Africa do not really have the full grasp of it because of the challenges of partaking in it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't think so, and I haven't seen the amazing job that Wakelet is doing in conjunction with other very forward-looking education technology companies. I think
Mm-hmm.
I would want you to share your thinking and your thoughts on the challenges of EdTech, not just in Africa, but around the world, and how we can break this thing down so that everybody can have more access. Okay, now.
Yeah, so I get the question completely. I think that there are definitely certain regions and certain countries that the educators in those regions and countries may feel like they don't have as much attention on them as other parts of the world, for sure. And I think that a lot of that tends to be down to the language that the edtech company might speak, the support that they have for language, the diversity of the people that they have on their teams, and also whether or not they're willing to actually go and connect with organizations from different countries to make their product more international. So I can't speak for other companies. All I can speak for is my experience with Wakelet, and I think that very early on, we knew that this was a platform that wanted to have an international flavor, and that having a lot of people in the community that were from all over the world was very, very important for us. However, we're not doing everything that we can, and that's why we're making improvements. So you'll probably know, Kunmi, in Wakelet Live, we announced that we're going to be releasing new languages, language support on Wakelet. So we're going to hopefully get it to the point where, anybody can enjoy Wakelet regardless of what language they speak. But for the time being, it's more about really building communities, building small communities in these countries that become big communities eventually. So if you take a look at Poland, for example, the Polish Wakelet community was started with just a few people. And now it's huge. And I think that the same applies for wherever you are. I think that if an edtech company, or any company for that matter, doesn't pay attention to educators across the world, they're making a mistake, because there's so much that teachers in Africa can teach teachers in Europe. There's so much that teachers in Southeast Asia can teach teachers in the Middle East, and vice versa. So it's all about creating those communities, I think, and then linking them together. I hope that answers the question. Did we
That
lose
actually
me?
answered.
Oh, we got
No,
it.
I'm here. That answered the question. Okay, so there's this interesting question, and Uchenna, I would love you to take this very briefly, and then Misbah will also come up.
Yeah.
Education technology, whose idea is it?
Education
Is it?
technology, whose idea
Yes,
is
whose
it?
idea is it?
Great, great
It's a
question.
good question. Yes, yes.
Yeah. I would say it's everyone's idea. It's everyone in the education ecosystem's idea. It comes from the students to the school owners, to the teachers, to the enthusiasts, to myself, to you as well. because like I said, like I don't know if you remember yesterday when we did a test, I said you can't build in isolation. You know, you cannot build a technology solution for yourself only. You have to build it for somebody. The students have these issues, solutions come up to solve that issue. The school owners have these issues, solutions come up to solve that issue. So it's the idea revolves around everybody. It just takes some key people who are bold enough to step out and say, I want to solve this problem. But the idea didn't basically come from them. You know, it came from trying to solve a problem that one person out there in the ecosystem experienced. Like I know a friend of mine, you know, he went back to his school to get his transcript, and he couldn't get his transcript because it was all paper records years ago. He wanted to go abroad to study. He couldn't get his transcript. And he said, okay, fine. Why don't I help this school actually, you know, start saving their transcripts online? And that's how we built a company, an EdTech company, a very big one today in Nigeria. You know, so it's everybody's idea, but it just takes those few people who are willing to step out and say, let's do this, let's build this, you know. But nevertheless, those are not the ones who the idea as, those are just the people who take action, you know. But everybody contributes in the ecosystem. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Misbah, whose idea is education technology?
Yeah, I have to agree with Kelechi for sure. It's everybody's ideas that form the product in the end. You know, the way that we see it at Wakelet is that we're not educators, so why should we be telling educators what it is that they should have on their platform? The way that we see it at Wakelet is the educators tell us what to create on the platform and what to make a reality, and then we just go ahead and put that together and help support them in learning how to use the platform. The educators know what learning outcomes they want to achieve, and we are just there as a means to facilitate that learning outcome and make it happen. So the ideas primarily, they come from everybody. Everybody has a part in it. We have a part in how, as an edtech platform, we have a part in what decisions can we make to help teachers get the most out of the platform and get the most out of edtech in general. The teacher plays a part in you know, telling us what they want out of the platform. The student plays a part in making the teacher know what they like and what they enjoy to do and what they're being engaged in, and it goes all the way up, down, back and front. So yeah, I completely agree with Kelechi. Everybody plays a part in edtech, everybody. And if you don't, you can always have a voice, because edtech companies have a really good habit of listening to teachers and educators within their communities.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, education technology is seen to be expensive. Expensive could be relative, but what steps is Wakelet taking in ensuring that everybody has access to education technology?
So Wakelet is a completely free to use platform. We'll always keep the platform free. We the way that we see it is that for what the platform is, it's largely a how can you say this? Teachers create the content on Wakelet. We don't create the content on Wakelet. When somebody searches for a climate change collection, they're going to find that on Wakelet that's being created by a teacher. The same way that you know, if you search something on YouTube, a YouTube creator has created that, and you don't pay for YouTube. You don't pay for Pinterest. You don't pay for Instagram. You don't pay for Twitter. So the way that we saw it is, why should you pay for Wakelet? Eventually, at some point, we'll bring in some premium products, but right now, everything that you can do is free to use and always will be free to use. So the cost for a teacher is nothing, and it's unlimited as well. There's no limit to the amount of collections you can create. But if you are I mean, if we're looking at further on in the future, then you know, we're a business, obviously. We do have some amazing ways which we can switch on that monetization button without affecting any of the educators that are using the platform. They still get to use that platform for free.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. So For you, Kelechi,
Yeah,
let's look at Africa again.
yeah,
From Madagascar to Egypt to Libya to South Africa to Gambia to Ethiopia.
yeah.
How does Nigenius capture all of the peculiarities of different landscapes?
Mm. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So Nigenius, we are a pretty young company. 2018 to 2020 is just about barely 2 years, but we have vision. We have a vision to scale beyond our borders. So, like I said, Nigenius provides quality teaching resources, lesson plans, and teaching resources for teachers based on their targeted teaching objective. So, and when we started out, because of our location and our home country is Nigeria, we started with the foundation as the Nigerian curriculum. And remember, also, the Nigerian curriculum is also based on the West African curriculum, which is the West African Examinations Council. So still based on the West African curriculum. So in the near future, we hope to expand and give the same opportunities that we're giving to our Nigerian teachers to the West African continent. And we're working, we will also work to be able to expand to international and regional curriculums as well. And our system is built in a way that is versatile. All we need to do is just get the curriculum, our researchers come in and work and create the content based on the home country's curriculum, and then we can now apply our unique blend of teaching resources, and it comes out as a finished product for that area. So it's something that can be scaled internationally and regionally because it's universal. It's universal. Everybody uses lesson plans regardless of where you are. Everybody makes use of teaching resources regardless of where you are based on your own standards. So we'll just come in, look at your standards, look at your curriculum, and we can update and serve. So we definitely you will definitely be hearing about the expansion to countries as we grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, Misbah, do I have to be computer literate to use education technology? I found that question quite intriguing because when we consider technology, of course, you need to be computer savvy. But I think the person is trying to ask, must I be on the computer to use technology, or can I just have it on my phone? Can I just have it on other devices and still tell myself that I'm an education technologist?
Listen, I think that if you're a teacher who's trying to use technology in the classroom with your students, you should really ask yourself, why are you using this technology? Is it just because it's technology and because you think it's going to engage the kids a little better, or it's going to be cool, or are you using it because it's allowing you to fulfill a particular learning outcome? That's a question I think that you have to ask yourself. And I think that when it comes to the question of being computer savvy, there are different levels to this. I think that one thing that lockdown taught us is that everybody had to become computer savvy. We had at Wakelet, I know that we had educators writing into us, and the support that they were asking for was on a different level than the support that we've usually asked for. The support was clearly from a beginner level to the point where it looks like this may be the first time that an educator has used a computer in the classroom to educate their students. I think that you have to learn. I think that it's important to learn how the basics of a computer work and how the basics of a browser work and how to use the web on a desktop. But I also think that it's the responsibility of the EdTech company to create a platform that is easy to use, that feels easy to use. When you look at the phone, when you look at the iPhone or any of these devices, they've been designed to be extremely intuitive. You know that by going like that, it's going to scroll up. Intuitively, you know that by pinching and zooming, that's going to zoom in. I mean, I say zooming, but by pinching, it's going to zoom. It's our responsibility to make it easy for anybody to pick up this technology and then use it in the classroom tomorrow. So for the person answering that question, I'd say that there's two parts. I think that the basic understanding of how to work a computer and use that and understand what apps are and that type of thing and browser extensions important. but it's also equally important for us as technology makers to create solutions which are very easy to use as well.
Thank you very much, Misbah. Closely related to that question, Kelechi,
Yeah.
somebody asks, a lot of those in the education system, a lot of those in the education technology industry are people who were not able to find their feet in their chosen careers and then had to resort to education. And this is an African phenomenon. How do we address this, particularly as regards qualitative education?
Okay. Is the person talking about just the education sector or the education technology sector?
The education sector brought the question, but the person
Yeah.
is now talking about education technology. I think what the
Oh.
person is asking is
Mm.
with specifics to the fact that a lot of people that are in education technology may
Yeah.
necessarily not have education background.
Yes.
Good. So I think we
Okay.
should address it from that perspective.
Okay. Good. That's a good question. So first of all, I don't think it is necessary, cast in stone, that for you to go into education technology, you must come from an education background. Just let's have an example. First of all, in Nigeria, for example, as a youth corper, you can actually teach in a school in Nigeria. Do you understand? It's part of the prerequisites. As a youth corper, you are eligible to be a teacher in Nigeria, first of all. So there's nothing that shows that you must have gone to, it's not cast in stone that you must have gone to teacher training colleges or have a degree in education. You can actually give value to students, you know. And when you say people couldn't find their feet in other industries, and that's what now led them to going into education technology, I don't totally agree with that, because looking at my own journey as an entrepreneur, I worked in the oil and gas industry, and I decided to venture into technology. And I looked at myself, I looked at my skills. What skills could I actually offer in the technology space? You know, having come from somebody who trained schools in teaching with technology, somebody who was very good in doing presentations, and somebody very good in using technology applications, which area would I be able to give impact in technology? And it had to be education based on my circumstances. You know, so I started a company called Innovative Digital Learning that trains schools in teaching with technology. So if I'm going to venture into technology, most likely it will be in education. You know, so it depends on your circumstances. People even start businesses based on problems that they have faced. Like I cited the problem of my friend who went to get his transcript from a school, and the school didn't have access to it because it was in paper records. And he decided to actually build a company that would actually store school records online on a cloud for the school so they can access it. You know, you would say that one couldn't find his standing in. He was already doing very well. He was working. You know, he was working. He was in an organization earning. You know, so it all depends on your journey and your ability to take action on your dreams. You know, so within that stereotype that people who are in education technology don't come from education, it's not cast in stone. We're in a very diverse world now. What you study in school might most likely end up be different from what you actually do in life. You know, might most likely be very, very different from what you do in life. So it's not
Okay.
cast in stone. Yeah, I
All
hope
right.
I answered very well.
Yeah, Misbah, you seem to want to drop some insights on that question too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that educational technology is a space now that is there's a lot of investment in it. It's a very exciting space. There's a lot of stuff happening in it, and I think that people are finally understanding and realizing how important it is to develop good solutions that helps kids learn better. It's as simple as that. I think that for a while, educational technology, didn't exist, and you look at the platforms which are doing really well right now in EdTech, and those are the platforms that um, are very innovative, but very simple, and the ones which are really helping the teacher in a genuine, sincere way to achieve a particular learning outcome. EdTech in general, I think, is a really exciting part. It's an exciting sector to be in for sure. With Wakelet, it's an interesting dynamic because we've got a lot of people using the platform who are outside of the EdTech space. So EdTech is just one of the arms of the company, if you would say, but it's clearly our biggest and it's our most passionate. And I think that people are realizing and companies are realizing that teachers as a people, as a character, whether it doesn't matter where you go in the world, they are incredible. Like they will guide you, they will educate you on what's wrong with your product and what's right and what needs to improve. They're very, very passionate, and they do more to share if they like your product, they will do more by themselves to help that product grow than any marketing agency, than any amount of money, than anything that you can imagine. And I think that that's one of the beautiful things about being in this space, is that we get to work with incredible people every day. And if they like what you're doing and they know that you're listening to you, that you're listening to them, they will do some incredible things for you. You know, we have our ambassador program, our community program. We have ambassadors who are running Wakelet Facebook pages. You know, we've got ambassadors every day who are talking about Wakelet in their communities, who are giving presentations and webinars in their own learning communities. There's so much that the educator is doing to help Wakelet, and we try and reciprocate that by listening and by delivering. So I think that's a pretty long answer to a short question.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's appreciated. I think you could even see in the comment box somebody popped up and said, "Oh, that's a nice one," because these are the kind of answers that we need. These are the kind of answers that we need to be given to people when they come up with these questions. Okay, so I'm mindful of our time, so I think we're just going to take a couple more questions and then we'll take our final notes. So there's a question here, and I think it's a touchy question, but I would want us to have a go nonetheless. All right, so this person, I think she's from Asia, and she asks, does education technology have to be English focused?
Kelechi, who wants to take that question for?
So, Kelechi, do you go first?
Yeah, I could just go first. Does education technology have to be English focused? I don't think it has. It could be diverse. You know, we're in a very diverse world now. You know, English isn't the only language that is spoken all over the world, you know. So like Misbah was saying, is they're incorporating other languages into their solutions, you know. And as we grow as well, we're going to actually involve that. Because if you want to build a company that's going to grow, if you want to build a technology that's going to grow and scale, you definitely have to have diverse languages across, you know. So it doesn't have to be English focused. For education technology to actually give massive impact globally and internationally to different people, you have to involve other languages. I totally, that's what I believe. That's what I believe.
Yeah. I agree with Kelechi. I think that if education is not English focused, so why should EdTech? I think that EdTech, educational technology, needs to follow what traditional technology is doing, but see how we can do it better. Okay. So if traditional education is not English focused, then why should educational technology? I think that what you find is that sometimes there are companies that exist in certain parts of the world, and maybe other companies may not necessarily have the same opportunities that those other companies might have. And therefore you find, and this is in everything as well. This happens in music, this happens in everything, and it's an issue. It's like looking at music and saying, is popular music English focused? Well, yes, it is. You know, should it be the same with educational technology? No. The only way I think that you're going to create a powerful EdTech solution is if you're taking into account every different language, every different community, and trying as much as you can to ensure that those communities feel engaged. Look, there's still so much that we need to learn at Wakelet about this, okay? Every time that we do a webinar, which is a how-to webinar on Wakelet, we speak in English and we speak quickly, right? So if you're not an English speaker, and you're there at that webinar, we know that you might struggle a little bit. So we try and slow it down. But we think in our minds, what can we do to change this? Right. Well, we need to help, we need to have our community help us. So now we have people doing webinars that are the same, but in Arabic, in French, in Polish. So we have to be aware that technology does not, education does not just exist in the Western world. It does not exist just in the English speaking world. It exists all over the world. So anything that we can do as EdTech companies to facilitate the learning of our product and to facilitate those learning outcomes, regardless of the language, is really important. One of the things that we have done, which is really good, is on Microsoft, on Wakelet, we've included Microsoft's immersive reader. This is an amazing plugin by Microsoft that allows any piece of text on Wakelet to be translated into 70 different languages. It's completely free for you to use. It's there by standard, but doing things like that, taking steps like that, make a very, very big difference. So is educational technology English focused? I would have to say that, should it be? No. Is it? We may still have a bit of work to do. We may still have a bit of work to do.
Okay, thank you very much, Misbah. All right, so there's a question here. How can we use virtual reality and augmented reality to improve our educational sector? This question, I think that I would want Kelechi to go first. But before he goes, let me just say this, that we have a partner in China by the name Paula Paulo. She's a Brazilian, but she's based in China. She's the XR pioneer. That's what they call her, and that's the company that she runs. She's on Twitter, XR pioneer. And one of the things that we discussed and that we're trying to do as well in Nigeria is to bring virtual reality into the classroom. So, and it's been fun and it's been interesting. But I want to have your take on it. So how can we use VR and AR to improve our educational sector? Kelechi, we'll go first, then we'll have Misbah.
Yeah, fantastic. That's a great question. Virtual reality and augmented reality are very powerful technologies that will be very beneficial to the education sector. Now, let me explain. I studied environmental engineering in Nigeria, and throughout the university time, I never saw a wastewater treatment plant. I never saw a wastewater treatment plant until I went abroad and actually went there to a live one and saw the great chambers and everything. But with virtual reality and augmented reality, for my classroom, I could actually be able to walk through. I can be able to walk through a real wastewater treatment plant, or see a real heart, or see the anatomy of a lion, or explore the molecules in chemistry. Immersive technology. And this is a very, very powerful technology that can actually help engage students more, improve their learning performances, and actually help them be more creative. So that is the importance of this technology. You're able to give them experiences that they nevertheless would not be able to witness inside the classroom. You're taking them from the classroom into the world, and from the world back into the classroom. So it's transformative. So that's one. Two, it is happening already. There are companies that are actually doing this. For example, I don't know if you know StanLab. StanLab won the Ideas Change Lives.
Yes, I know about StanLab. StanLab.
StanLab helps students actually do experiments through VR. Where a school doesn't have a lab, they can actually do experiments like chemistry experiments. There's also a guy called a good friend of mine, Success Think Studios. They're actually doing a lot of stuff in education in VR and AR. So it's powerful. All we just need to do is find out who these people are and support them in any way we can. Use the solutions, do shout outs for them on social media, and just make some noise for them and refer them to people, publicize them. People are actually taking bold steps to actually use AR and VR in education, and it's a powerful tool. Yeah. That's what I wanted to add. And we also got selected for the British Council Ideas Change Lives as well. We made the top 5. That's how I knew about StanLab, because I went back to check who were the past winners last year, and StanLab was there. So people are doing stuff, but there's room for more. There's a lot of room for more improvement in that area.
Mm.
Yeah.
Misbah, can we have you?
Yeah, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. There's nothing that I can't say that Kelechi hasn't already said about this subject. I think that he summed it up beautifully. I think that what it does is it allows very memorable learning experiences, augmented reality and virtual reality. It allows very memorable and engaging learning experiences. We're partnered with a company called Merge VR, and they are amazing. They have this thing called a merge box and a merge cube, and it's like a cube, and on each side of the cube they have these very small, almost like barcode symbols. And if you take your phone and you look at the cube and scan the cube becomes like an augmented reality, and you can move it, and so you can, like you were saying, like a human heart, you can hold the human heart. Or they were doing it before with the actual coronavirus. So to understand what it looks like, whatever
Wow.
side you can do, I would really recommend it. And the good thing is, this merge cube is a rubber cube. It's about this big, and I'm not sure. I think it costs like around $15. What Merge did is they released. I think you can find it now online. A paper cube. So they've made it so that you can print it off and you can cut it out and stick it together, and it will work exactly like the other cube. This is amazing because in places where people don't have access to it, or in schools that don't have a lot of money to spend, this is an amazing alternative. So I would recommend people to check out Merge. You download the app, you get the cube, and then you scan it, and you have some incredible experiences. So yeah, exactly like what Kelechi said. It brings a new dynamic to learning and engagement, and it's becoming more mainstream. It's becoming less expensive, and it's becoming easier to do than it was 2 years ago. Never mind 10 years ago.
All right, great one. In the comment box, somebody also added a comment that it will keep students engaged, and it will be very hard for them to forget their learning experience. I think that's one of the big points of augmented reality from our own experience at Kids Without a Box. All right, so let's take another question. I think I'm going to go to South America now. This is an educator from Colombia, and he's asking, he says that poverty levels affect the reach of education technology. How do we is it okay? I think what he's trying to ask is, EdTech is not within the reach of everybody. So what do we do as educators to make it affordable? I think this question had been answered a couple of minutes earlier, but probably the person was not with us. So we could just take it again. How and what are the effects that we are having on the EdTech space in a bid to make it more affordable? All right, Kelechi, you go first, and then Misbah.
All right, good. So this is actually something that I'm really, really passionate about, because, looking at the context, most educational technology solutions, especially the paid ones, might not be available for people in low income areas and people in the rural areas. And the coronavirus actually caused an education inequality, if you've been observing, because as students were now told to go home, not some families didn't have devices, some families didn't have enough laptops, to actually take care of their students that were home, especially low income and the rural communities. So there was a big challenge, So for me, this problem keeps me up at night. I'll be honest with you, it keeps me up at night. How can we get the best quality teaching resources to those students who don't have access to infrastructure, to the devices, to even internet connectivity? It's a serious issue. If there's in the urban areas, the high income areas, that's fine. They have access to all that, And with Nigenius, we're able to actually, ensure that with our solution, students in the low income areas and in the rural areas that have access to our solution can have the same quality teaching resources that the same students in the high income areas and the urban areas have, but we can't do it alone because we're still we're a growing company. We need partnerships with organizations and the government, to say, okay, guys, let's take your solution, let's provide some infrastructure for you so that these people can actually get access to this quality teaching resources. So it's a partnership and collaboration, and companies like ourselves are willing to help, And another thing, again, it's important that I've learned again during the whole COVID-19 thing. Like during the COVID-19, I participated in 2 hackathons, global hackathons, where, virtual events where all over the world people are brainstorming on solving areas to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, technology solutions. You'd be surprised the kind of ideas that can come out from a hackathon, So, and I would like to host one day where we host a hackathon on how we can provide economically, as in very easy to use solutions so that people in the rural areas, low income kids, can actually have access to quality teaching resources. It's happening in some places, but there's still a lot that are not reached yet. I'll be honest with you. There's still a lot of people who haven't been reached yet that cannot afford the data. How can we have offline quality teaching resources that are available, are accessible? So it's good. One is offline. 2, do they have the devices to access it? Those are the things you need to consider. The resources are there. Now, is it offline, first of all, because they don't have internet? Some of them might not have internet connectivity. Then again, do they have the devices? So we need to brainstorm. Okay, do we do mobile projectors? Do we do floating balloons with mobile projectors and bring it to these communities? The students can learn. Do we use robots? Do we use, we have to think and brainstorm. So this is something that keeps me up at night. And I know hopefully ideas will come up, but with Nigenius, we are doing the best we can, whereby students can actually get access to quality teaching resources, regardless of where they are and where they're located, from the solution, from their teacher. Yeah. I hope I've been able to.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Now, Misbah, before you answer the question, I want to add it to this. How can these innovations be accessible and sustainable? So I think you will just address that in conjunction with the previous question. All right now.
Yeah, I think again, Kelechi's answer was amazing. The difference between equality and equity is equality. Let's give all the students devices. Equity is making sure that all those students have internet connections so that the devices can actually work. It's about taking a little bit more of a nuanced approach into it. And I know that, like Kelechi said, the lockdown really exposed a lot of issues with that. A lot of educators, couldn't get their students to use products which were only on desktop. They needed an app. We had to do a lot of improvements on our app to facilitate that learning going on. And then in terms of accessibility and inclusivity, I think that working with Microsoft for us has been amazing. Having that immersive reader in there, it doesn't just change languages, it also highlights things for grammar. It increases the size and the space of the text. There are amazing grammar and comprehension options on there as well. And I think it's just being very, very mindful about what the community, what issues the community are facing and how we respond to them as a company. We don't see it as in we have this community. We see it as in we are part of this community. And, whenever there's an issue, we want to do our best to use our platform to say, okay, this needs to change, or this needs to get better, or this needs to do, So yeah, I think that if I was to answer the question really well, I'd just be saying what Kelechi said beforehand. So I think that that's it really. The only point that I can make is it's not always about equality. Equality is giving all of your students devices. Equity is ensuring that they all have internet connection to use those devices. Otherwise, it's pointless. It's a pointless act of equality, if that makes sense.
I think I agree. Equality and equity. Okay, so let's take two more questions, and we'll be taking our final word. Okay, so the first one is, there are not a lot of women in technology.
Mm-hmm.
This session further enumerates that, because we have Kelechi and Misbah, but we do not have a female. What can education technology companies do differently to encourage more female participation? I think, Misbah, you should go first, because Wakelet has been around for a bit longer than Nigenius.
Yeah. It's a really, really good question, and it's a common issue that I think affects technology, but it also affects a lot of different industries as well. If you take a look at the teaching industry, if you take a look at the education industry, this is an industry which is predominantly female. Men make up a minority when it comes to teachers in the schools. It's predominantly a female industry. The same goes for healthcare as well. It's mainly women there. And then there are some industries that, for whatever reason, I don't know whether it's women have a harder time navigating the organizational structure just because of the structures that have already been put in place that make it difficult for them. But for us at Wakelet, it's been a challenge finding talent in this space that are women. I think that it's difficult to blame anybody without first looking at the education system and looking at our society in general and our cultures in general across the world, because every culture is different, and saying, what is it as a young girl, what do you want to be? Did you know that you can become a coder? Did you know that you can get into STEM? You can get into educational technology. You can get into coding and development. Maybe we're not doing that. Maybe we're not doing that enough with girls at a young age. Maybe we're not setting these pathways up and allowing this equality of opportunity for women to make it in this industry. And that being said, I think that the world is changing. As we can see, there are movements happening. Everybody is much more aware of the situation than they were in the past. And I think that just being aware is a really good first step to helping improve that. Because if you're a young girl in a classroom as a child and you don't see women in technology, you're not going to think that that's a place for you to that you can go. And it's the same thing for a young boy as well, but particularly with women. If you don't see yourself represented within an industry, you automatically switch off and you think that's not for me. And the same can be said about race and sexuality and that type of thing. But for gender specifically, it's perhaps it's that. It's like it's a cycle that keeps going where girls are not seeing themselves represented in STEM. They're not seeing themselves represented in technology, and therefore are just kind of dismissing it. And what that leaves us in a situation is that it's very difficult when we are hiring to actually find a talent that is are women. It's hard. We don't get that many CVs, that many resumes, that many curriculum vitae that are women. So it's definitely an issue. It's an issue that we are aware of, and I think that companies and people around, they should do their best to try and get that, because having a diverse workplace is really important, really, really important.
Uchenna, can we have you? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, fantastic. Misbah said something that is very, 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 very important. Awareness. Awareness is key, and that's why what that is going to show a lot in what I'm about to say. First things first. The two companies that I run, Innovative Digital Learning and Nigenius. Innovative Digital Learning also provides technology-based trainings to technology-based training skills to people, And some of these trainings are data analytics, product management, AI, machine learning, and virtual work skills. A lot of our trainers are women. I have the data, I have the stats, I have the data, I have the stats. So women are actually doing a lot more in terms of scaling up these days. Now, and also working with the people, the team in Nigenius that after we launched, we had more ladies than men. The girls were actually very, very diligent when it came to researching, getting the work done, top-notch quality teaching resources. The girls were actually outbeating the boys. So women are actually standing up more. But like Misbah said, awareness is important. More ladies need to come up. More ladies need to want to learn new skills. More women need to actually rise up and say, let's learn this skill. Let's learn data analytics. Let's learn artificial intelligence. Let me learn how to code. Then another thing again is more women need to actually take up the role of founders. Like if we call EdTech companies now, I'm sure the amount of men is going to be more than the amount of women. It's because, and it's not entirely their fault, because if you look at the women, they grow as they grow. Like Misbah said, what they see, when they don't see many, they get discouraged. And another thing again, they now go into family life, marriage, kids come, then, the career kind of like goes down, so but one thing they need to do is we need to understand that if you have an idea, if you have a dream, if you have something that you've thought about, take that step and start it. Start small, dream big, and start small. And that way we will now have more female tech founders. They're already rising up. There are lots of them, co-founders that are female, from Schoolable to Gradely. Lots of teams are rising up. I have a female co-founder in my team. I have a female co-founder. The person who is actually the lead developer on the new Nigenius is a lady. For the first time, we're working with a senior developer who is working on the new Nigenius, which we're going to be experiencing very soon. Is a lady. So ladies, keep rising, keep learning, keep taking bold steps. And for me, it's not we're equal. We're equal. It's just what you do. Just stand up, give it your best shot, put your best foot forward, send out your CV, start that business, talk about that your idea, and go for it. So that's it. That's it for me.
Wow. Great. Wow. Okay, so a lot of questions are popping up now, and we may not be able to take all of them. So please, when we're done with the sessions, would have your respective social media handles so that you can interact and share with schools. But let me take this question. It's quite important. It says, will the teachers' roles become unnecessary as a result of education technology? I think this person is looking at the future. Will the role of teachers become unnecessary as a result of education technology? Misbah, can you go first?
No, never. There will always need to be educators. Our children cannot be taught by robots. Our children can only be taught by people who care for them and who have empathy and who understand that they are human beings. When I look back and I look at my teachers, and I look at the jobs that they did, and I see that how hard teachers are working right now, there's no way. If we're talking about the difference between a human and a robot, I think that when it comes to education, teaching, the human wins every time. When it comes to maybe, I don't know, 3D printing or creating a piece of equipment, or when it comes to processing thousands of gigabytes of information in a second, definitely a robot will do that better than a human. When it comes to reaching out and connecting with a student and allowing them to experience those incredible learning opportunities, those learning outcomes, no chance. There is no way that a teacher's role becomes unnecessary because of EdTech. EdTech should only supplement what the teacher is doing. It should never replace what the teacher is doing.
Great. All right. Kelechi, very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. So that's a good one. So I want to just give a quick example. There's this website. I think it's called Deep AI. I think Deep AI. So it shows where a small a small thing about show me how many fingers are turned up is given to a 5-year-old and also given to an AI algorithm. The 5-year-old is actually smarter than the AI algorithm, and let's forget about robots are not going to be in your classroom, but and because teaching is an emotional thing, it's not just a transactional thing. It's the emotions, the interactions that you have. Teachers are facilitators of knowledge, But one thing I must say, and I must be clear about, is technology will not replace teachers. It's teachers that don't know how to use technology that might be replaced with the ones who know how to use technology.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me not cut you off. Just in addition to what you said, the teachers that do not know how to use technology, they will be cut off. I think that's a good point to hold on to. All right. So our final words now. Our final words. Misbah, can you go first? Our final words, because we need to start the roll down now. Okay. So our final words.
Yeah, my final word would be that look, I think that just being here, speaking to you, and having you reach out to me, Kunmi, and to reach out to everybody involved in this, and figure out how we can get this conversation happening, I think is very indicative of how awesome this educator community is. I think that for me personally, being able to be here and speak about these things to a different audience, to different people around the world, has always been amazing. And I would just say that right now, during this pandemic, the educators have really been able to, well, not the educators, people have understood how important the educator is in all of this. And not just in the sense that, oh, they're teaching my kids, but that they are with my kids for a lot of the time, a longer time than I am, that they are a crucial part of the kids' upbringing and the children's structure and livelihood. And I think that during this lockdown, when the kids couldn't go to school, everybody realized how much they miss the educators. Educators really, really do a terrific job. I don't know how we could have got through this lockdown and still managed to teach our children without all of the amazing, ingenious ideas and innovative ideas that this educator community has have. So it's always a pleasure for me to speak with people about this and to try and engage with this amazing community. If anybody has any questions, you can just follow me on Twitter at Misbah Gedal and let me know. And if anybody wants to learn a little bit more about Wakelet, go to learn.wakelet.com. And we'll welcome you to the family. You can join the community, maybe even become an ambassador one day for Wakelet. And yeah, I just want to say a big thank you, Kunmi, for putting this together. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Misbah. We would actually be encouraging a lot of educators. We're going to be setting up a platform for educators to acquire the Wakelet way. All right. So we will be on that. Okay. So Kelechi, final words.
Yeah, final words. So thank you so much, first of all, Kumi, for bringing me on board this event to share my thoughts. We really, really appreciate it. On behalf of myself and my co-founders and all the Nigenius and Innovative Digital Learning team, we say thank you for this. So I just want to say my final words are, education is really important. Two important things that are very important for every economy and society to thrive: education and healthcare. Very, very important, So these are things that we shouldn't take for granted. Let's support our teachers. Let's support our educators. Let's support the local EdTech companies that are growing, because they need your support to actually give an impact. They want to do good. There are a lot of companies that are out there that are solving big problems. So let's support them. So we can always reach out to us at Nigenius.ng on Google. Just search out Nigenius. Visit our website, follow us on all the platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, we're there. Send us a message and we'll respond. And you can check out the website as well. So we're constantly committed to delivering quality education to all our stakeholders out there. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kelechi. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. It's been a whole lot of education, encouragement, and sharing. So we're going to be having a community link that Misbah and Kelechi will be a part of. So those who are interested in the weekly wave and those who are interested in getting on the Nigerian board would also be a part. Be also participants in. So please, as a final word, let's not end this here. Let's take it beyond
Yes.
here. Let's take
Yes.
it into our schools. Let's take it into our homes. Let's take it into our devices so that we share
Yes.
and share and share. Education technology is here to stay and it's only going to get better. Thank you very much, everyone. And we'll be sending out the certificates and the swag shirts shortly to the participants and those who were the lucky winners. So from our end, from all of us at Kids Without a Box, it's thank you, and you have yourself.
Thank you all so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys.
Thank you for joining us.
We'll keep in touch, yeah?
Bye. Take care, Kenichi. Yes, man, definitely. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.